What's up everyone, welcome back to another episode of Paper Red in the Spirits Inc. devlog. It's been a while, but in today's episode we are going to go over Waldon's office. If you don't know who Waldon is the walrus character who is basically the mayor of Fisherman's Wharf. And today we're kind of going over his office and the stuff about his character. It's going to be a good time, so stick around and enjoy. So, one of the things we wanted to get right about Waldon's office is the fact that he is an old sea captain. He used to trade spices and stuff like that all across the world. He's got a very good rapport within Fisherman's Wharf, which is why he was elected as mayor in his old age, and also why he went and gave up the young man's life of, sailing in the seas and trading, that sort of thing. So with his office, we wanted a very nautical theme, a very kind of sea captain, but still very professional style. Now, I will say that the end result is not finalised. There is still some things I want to add in that actually bring out a bit more kind of walrusy vibes. Obviously I feel like we do hit the nail on the head when it comes to the kind of sea captain vibe, but I want some kind of animal traits of his nature to be in the office. I just need to kind of do a wee bit of research on walruses and that sort of thing. I believe they are a wee bit more kind of Antarctic, I think. Don't quote me on that, haven't looked it up so far. Right now we're just doing some kind of decal on the carpet. Nothing that really, there's, I won't lie, there's nothing really behind these symbols or anything. I just wanted a kind of nice kind of motif on the carpets as you're kind of walking up to his desk. Nothing that really has any true big meaning or anything, but just, sometimes you have a nice carpet and it doesn't really make sense, it's just a nice carpet. Although I did add in a wee heart, because hearts are like a big theme within the world of Solaria. So let's talk a wee bit about details outside of what you're actually seeing on screen, maybe some interesting details that you might actually want to know about the game itself. We do have a demo coming out in August where you'll be able to playtest the character, some of the battle systems, and see some of the areas that you're going to be in. That's going to come out kind of late August. Then I'm hoping to have Chapter 1 for Dreams finalised by about November 25th and hopefully coming out at that time. And I also do have plans, once we've finished the demo for Dreams, to actually recreate Red in the Spirits Inc. Have a full game made for Unreal Engine 5. Now that is the current plans right now. I don't see that changing anytime soon, as I've got some really great people helping right now, so there is actually a lot of cool stuff coming your way. If you are actually really interested about Spirits Inc. And you're wanting it to become a full-fledged thing, that is actually happening, so I hope you're excited for that. Okay, so back to actually what's happening on screen. Of course, like every kind of toon project that I currently work on, sorry I had to move my head away to burp for a second. Like every toon project that I work on, everything has to have a black outline that makes it pop. Or well, not everything, but I do tend to add something that I kind of want to make pop. So right now we're working on the stairs. We're eventually going to be working on the kind of banister and then a kind of rope motif that goes up the stairs to kind of give it almost like a ship quality, kind of like you're walking up the stairs of a ship. I really wanted the office to have almost a ship interior sort of look to it, to feel like, this is an old captain who, despite, no longer being a captain, he does have some kind of rougher edges. He's not just like this kind of old man that's running this town. Waldon is actually quite, or can be quite stern. He's got a kind of that fun, bubbly old person character, but you know, when he's lecturing you, you know, you see that kind of sea captain come out a bit more, and he's a bit more kind of stern with you. Obviously, you play as Red within the game, so you are a Knight of Solaria, so there's also a bit of respect given sort of thing, because you are there with the Queen, you're being introduced for the first time to this character and to this island in general, so there's a lot of kind of different but interesting power dynamics happening when you are meeting different characters. Because Red is, in other games, if you're familiar with my work, you notice that Red is often treated like a child because of his size, because of his stature. He is a small character, he does look like a child, he is a child, although despite that he does have a lot of serious responsibilities, and he does garner quite a lot of respect within a lot of characters who know him, but characters who don't know him tend to treat him like a child. So that's something that I actually wanted to do a reversal of this time around, because you are being taken to an island with the Queen, so the Knight is actually with the Queen at this time, so you know, people might still see him as a kid, but it's almost like, oh, you know, this is the Knight, and then so people are obviously like, you know, that curiosity thing of like, wait, this kid is the Knight? And then it's also like, oh well, we need to still kind of show him respect because he's with the Queen right now, so we can't sit and, you know, call him a kid and disrespect him, that sort of thing. So there's going to be a bit of an interesting thing for players who have played previous games where they have noticed that Red is kind of treated like a kid. That's going to be kind of flipped on its head for this one. So yeah, as you can see, Waldon is behind his desk. I'm just working on a wee bit of the varnish, making the desk a bit more interesting, trying to get like a nice kind of colour and concept to it. Like I said, that is Waldon behind the desk. He's an old captain. You can see he's actually not much bigger than Red. It's quite funny, we never actually see a young version of Waldon, but I like to think that, you know, a young Waldon was like kind of like big and muscular, almost like Froggo. If you've seen Froggo, you'll know what I'm talking about. Right now we're just basically making a makeshift photograph of Waldon on his desk. It's a picture of him and Queen Solace when he was elected as mayor. It's not very good. I do actually do a really cool technique later on that makes the photograph look 1,000 times better. And I'll talk about that when it actually happens, but right now I'm just kind of doing like an outer shadow because I didn't actually think of it at this time. But yeah, I'm going to shut up, let you watch a wee bit, and then I'll come back in at a bit more interesting moments, and if I think of anything of interest to actually say. Okay, so here's what I was actually talking about with the photograph. Because the characters are 2D paper thin, they basically make great versions of their own portrait, which is fantastic. So I basically took Waldon, took away his black outline so that it doesn't pop as much, so that you kind of realise that it is a photograph. And I basically made like a little young version of him to kind of show, you know how like classic portraits where it's like, oh, it's the character when they were in their sort of prime sort of thing. Well, this isn't, you know, prime Waldon, but it is a younger Waldon, basically when he was, you know, first introduced. So, you know, he had a wee flicker of hair under his hat, that sort of thing, you know, something that just kind of makes it like a wee bit more interesting. You can kind of see him a bit younger. And we actually do this technique with the photograph. So basically we take the Solace character model and we take the Waldon character model and we make it into the photograph, and it actually looks really good. So I think that's actually coming up, so we'll see in 2 wee seconds. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. I really love this because it turns out it looks so good, especially when you kind of see it at a distance. You can't see it in full detail obviously because it is so small, but it looks so good as a photograph. I was really happy with this. I stream this process, so when I'm actually working on assets of the game, I'm actually streaming it on Twitch. So if you want to see it live, head on over to Twitch. It's at Red Katsu, same name under everything basically, Twitter as well and stuff like that. But yeah, when I actually came up with that in the middle of streaming, I was like, that's so smart. I can't believe I didn't think of that right away. But yeah, right now we're just working on, I think this is a bookshelf. We're just trying to get a kind of interesting banister for it. The good thing about doing a kind of papercraft style game is that things don't need to be perfect. Everything doesn't need to be exact measurements and look amazing and be in the lines and that sort of thing. Everything, it's basically a storybook being told right now. That's kind of what's happening. We're not actually within a paper world. Kind of like, you know how Paper Mario has a sort of like everything is actually paper. It's not a version of Mario being told through a book. It's an actual paper world where everything is paper, and so you can kind of turn into these like paper forms. This isn't like that. This is a real story being told, so that's why, you know, you can't turn into, you know, paper forms. But it's also why I really like the fact that not everything is perfect. So like if you look at the banisters and stuff like that, not everything perfect. We're turning all the wood dark right now as well, just to kind of give it that kind of rosewood finish. But yeah, I really like with the process that we're going, and the fact that we're not kind of trying to make everything look, you know, super perfect. And yeah, this is, oh wow, we're at the end right now. This is how it ended up, finished. It looks really good. I'm still thinking of adding in some more kind of walrus touches to it, but as of right now, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I hope you like it as well. If you've got any ideas for what a walrus would have in his office, please leave it in the comments. I'm always interested to hear what people think. I hope you enjoyed watching. We're going to be back with more stuff. We've got some Everdream coming out tomorrow. We've got some more funny videos later in the week. It's really a right time for content, so hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye everyone.